I hope we're live. Shoot. Anyways, what's up, everyone? Midnight Madness 4x4, and it's time for another podcast. I'm gonna have one of my stock class tough truck racing buddies, Robbie Williams, with me, and I'm gonna give him a call here and see if we can get him on the line. Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hold on a second. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, I think I know what I did, actually. I didn't select my microphone. That's my bad. Blue Yeti.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
What's happening, bud?
Not much. How you doing, man?
Hanging in there after a long day of driving from Virginia all the way here to Salisbury, Maryland, and working all day, and even had to run to Delaware earlier to go get a paint sprayer so we could spray paint the dirt.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's for... I guess you help set up the track also, don't you?
We built the track, and we're also going to be running the event. I got two guys that are with me. They're going to be staging the monster trucks, and I'm going to be flagging them and doing the event coordination for the monster trucks as well as the tough trucks and the kids' power wheels. So I got a lot on my plate this weekend trying to make Ed Beckley not, have a lot to do.
Yeah, but how was last year for you?
Sorry, repeat that.
How was last year for you?
Last year was pretty decent. We came into an unknown territory and went up there to go race. Met some great people like Arthur Chester or Jeremiah Creasy, just to name a few. And Josh Elder, I believe, was there too. And those guys, they're really tough to beat and they're really good racers. And, I feel like going up there and racing against them caliber of drivers makes you a better racer, especially, when you're from Virginia, North Carolina, and then you're racing against the best in the country at what you're doing. It really makes the cream rise to the top, and it was an exceptional challenge for my team. And we got lucky. We got a couple of third place finishes and finished fourth overall for the weekend. So all in all, it wasn't a bad weekend the last time we went to Salisbury. This time I brought my brand new Jeepers Creepers that we ran last year. It was the first year for that particular truck, and we're real serious about coming in here to Salisbury and taking the money and the trophies. We brought 3 sets of tires. And I bought different kinds of shocks, different springs, and stuff that I could do on the suspension, so that way in between races I can make some adjustments depending on what the track conditions are. But we built a gnarly track out here for Salisbury. It's definitely going to get people's attention if they're not watching themselves with the ramps.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it down. I did come to the decision that if I'm going to race this year, I have to make it a top priority to have everything in tip-top shape. And I got 2 of my 3 trucks running, so I'm going to work on my last truck tomorrow, see what I can do for that one. But I bet you're pretty excited for this year then.
I'm really excited. In a few days, we got a major announcement coming from our race team in regards to some mud bugs that's going to be happening in Virginia. We're going to revisit a pre-existing track that hasn't been open or having any kind of motorsports activities outside of drag racing for at least 6 years. And last year they opened up their dirt park and got it back up and running again. And like I said, we're just really excited about that. March 31st, we got a big belt race at Morgan's Corner. So Jeremiah Creasy's supposed to be coming down and defending his belt. And if he doesn't decide to come back down to North Carolina, then I guess I'm going to be making a trip to Pennsylvania and getting what's rightfully mine.
Yeah, I thought you had the belt though. Didn't you win it back last year?
I won it at Morgan's Corner last year, which was the last belt race of the season before Suffolk Mud Jam at Peanut Fest. And Jeremiah beat me by 0.2 of a second at Peanut Fest, but I also got 15 foot of air and jumped my truck over 100 foot from ramp to landing. So Jeremiah kind of took it easy and wussed out over the jump, but you know, I like to put on a show, and I was just getting warmed up. I was going to go out there and either going to beat Jeremiah or I was going to total my truck trying, but unfortunately we broke a knuckle, which made the ball joints separate, and we didn't have the time or the tools there at the racetrack to fix the truck, but that's all changing this year. I'm bringing everything from a plasma cutter, grinder, porta-band, grinders, welding machines, anything and everything that I need. I'm bringing it to the racetrack because I ain't going to let nothing stop us no more.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about your truck? It's a Jeep Grand Cherokee with a 5.9 360, correct?
That is correct. It is a 98 limited 5.9. They only made 14,000 of them, and they're super rare with the Jeep followers. They love these things, and I happened to stumble across it used to be a former state police park ranger Jeep in the state of Virginia, so it's got the Police Interceptor 360, and it's got a little special computer to it. But other than what it came from the factory with, it's a completely stock truck. I mean, I've got a lift kit on there. I've got some bump stops that I've designed that work out really good, using the lower control arms to limit my suspension travel going upwards, so that way instead of having a rigid stop, it's a progressive stop. I do a little bit of stuff that's different with the suspension system than the other guys do, and it takes a lot of the bounce out of my truck, and I spend a lot more time on the ground than bouncing opposed to the other guys. It just seems my biggest problem is when I see a big jump, I don't know how to let out of the gas. I like to soar that baby and like to hear the engine hit the rev limiter, I guess.
Yeah. Do you mean by any chance the tennis balls in the coil springs? Is that what it is? Or
it's a combination of different stuff that we do. We run full adjustable arms in the front of the truck, so I've been able to adjust my pinion angle so that way it doesn't put the U-joint in a bind on the front drive shaft. And then you add to that the fact, like I said, the progressive bump springs that I run, so that way the suspension, as it collapses all the way and it goes through its upward suspension cycle, it's not hitting a rigid bump spot and stopping the axle from moving upward, you know, in a dramatic fashion. And then you couple that with tennis balls, pressurized tennis balls to be exact, and you know, I've pretty much got my suspension system dialed in. I can, like I said, I can jump that truck 15 foot in the air between my seat, my harness, my Hans device, and my suspension. I don't feel anything. It's like a giant marshmallow.
I guess those tennis balls also, would they also help as a bump stop almost? Like help prevent the axle from smacking the oil pan or the subframe?
To an extent, yes, but honestly, no, because what happens is the coil spring compresses, the tennis balls get trapped in between the tube that comes down to hold the actual spring in place. And what happens is when the suspension cycles and I bottom out the truck, it punctures tennis balls. So usually my springs and my tennis balls are only good for 2 or 3 races. And then we completely pull down the truck, put it on jack stands, go back, repack everything, change the springs out. And I got to thank Rough Country for their support with our race team. You know, I give Robert a call at Rough Country, and I tell him I need a new set of springs for the truck. And within 3 days, I got a brand new set on my doorstep. And I can't thank them enough. And I also can't thank ProComp Shocks for everything that they do for me. They're my shock supplier. And, you know, I try to make everybody look good, just like Affordable Bender, Busted Knuckle Films, and the other great sponsors that I have that are helping us out.
Yep, I actually was going to ask you about Busted Knuckle Films because you also have a Jeep Grand Cherokee that, I guess it sponsors it? Busted Knuckle?
It is a corporately sponsored Tuff Truck by the YouTube channel. Yes, that's correct. Actually, one of the guys that drives it, he's an actual filmer for Busted Knuckle. If you ever watch Busted Knuckle Films and you see anything from Iron Horse Mud Ranch or Dennis Anderson's Muddy Motorsports Park, Morgan's Corner, or Suffolk Peanut Festival, then the guy that drives that truck, the Busted Knuckle Tough Truck's the actual filmer of all those events. So we got a great working relationship with Matt with Busted Knuckle, and we love him and we love everything he does. I mean, there's a couple of different YouTube channels that show tough truck racing on YouTube, but when you've got 1.4 million views on one video of tough truck racing at Dennis Anderson's, that's a pretty huge accomplishment considering the small popularity of the tough truck class. But I continue to see it grow in leaps and bounds every year. And it seems like every year the competition gets tougher and tougher because everybody's watching what everybody else is doing and they're starting to copy everybody else that's fast.
Okay, I actually got a question in the chat room from got a YouTube channel named Tuff Truck Racing, and he wants to know where you're from, Rob.
I'm from Hopewell, Virginia, and that is about 30 miles south of Richmond, and I commute all over. For instance, right now as we speak on the telephone, I'm sitting here at the Sleep Inn in Salisbury, Maryland. I travel up and down the East Coast. We run in North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland. We're going to Delaware. We're going to Pennsylvania this year, Indianapolis, Illinois, Ohio. We're going to Ohio for a couple of races. So we're traveling all over the place, and it's a great time. And it's a damn shame. I've never, honestly, since I've been an adult, ever went on a vacation to, like, let's say Key West or Miami, Florida, or anything like that. My vacation in my life, thanks to my wife, who's understanding and supportive of me from time to time. Thank you, honey. I love you. We get to go on vacations every weekend to the racetrack, so I'm very blessed at what I get to do, and I've got to meet a lot of great people. And I know that, for instance, you know, Charles, I got to meet you for the first time in person.
Yep.
We've known each other for 20 years.
Yep, I was about to bring that up also, a Monster Truck Madness too.
You know, with all my experience in the motorsport entertainment industry, it amazes me how many people who were into NTM2 either became monster truck drivers, monster truck promoters, event directors, some shape or form work in the industry. A lot of the guys that I know that I still communicate with, you know, they work for Fellow Motorsports, Monster Jam, either on the fleet side, which is the mechanics for the monster trucks, or as drivers, or as tech officials. And it's honestly a small, tight-knit community, and I've made lifelong friends from a video game that, you know, I could never replace or dream of making that many friends again except for at the racetrack.
Yeah, and who says video gamers don't have lives? But, crap. Oh, yeah, I got another question in from Chris Wolf on the YouTube chat. What do you think of the Muddy Motorsports Park moving to Florida?
I understand at the end of the day that it's a business decision. I'm not going to hold it against Dennis Anderson or the guy that was trying to take it over, which I won't name because, you know, nobody really knows about him or anything else like that. They just know it was Dennis Anderson's Muddy Motorsports Park. But to be honest with you, I feel like as a tough truck racer, going to Dennis Anderson's and running in North versus South or just winning an event there, period, was sort of like in NASCAR going to Daytona and win at Daytona. It was the baddest of the bad, you know. Tough trucks, very seldom do they run the same exact track that a monster truck runs on. I'm talking about huge jumps, you know, going through mud and just a complete, you know, obstacle course where it's a true driver's track. But at Dennis Anderson's, you know, there was times in my tough truck, you know, I'm getting more air than half the mega trucks that were in attendance, you know,
Yeah.
and coming down and, you know, making my second pass. And, you know, it's just a damn shame, to be honest with you, that that track closed down. I really wish that things would have worked out, and I wish that things would have continued there. But like I said, I've got a huge announcement coming next week with my partner Chris Weiss and Ken Whitley with Big Daddy Motorsports, and we're going to be putting on an event that's going to be at the same caliber that we hope as Dennis Anderson's Muddy Motorsports Park. And we're going to kind of take where Dennis and company left off in Currituck, North Carolina, and try to move it to the Metro Richmond area, and hopefully we get a lot of guys from Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and so on and so forth to come down and race for us and have a good old time just like we were doing at Dennis's.
Yeah. Chris also asked how it was going to affect tough truck racing in North Carolina and Virginia, but I don't think Dennis, I'm not sure if he is going to have tough trucks down there in Florida or not. I think I saw something about it on Facebook.
There is a rumor going around that Dennis is going to be running Tuff Trucks down in Florida, but I can tell you personally from speaking with Dennis that he has no intentions of running Tuff Trucks at this point in time. I believe that Dennis is going to do a Pro 1 Mega Truck class, a Pro 2 Mega Truck class, and then do a Polaris side-by-side class. Because I think he's got some corporate sponsorship coming in from the people at Polaris. So it seems like the Tuff Truck tradition with Dennis Anderson's Money Motorsports Park isn't going to continue to Florida. But, I mean, if Dennis is to sit there and say that he's going to run events in Florida, I know that me and a few other guys from North Carolina wouldn't have a problem going to Florida and going down there and run.
Yeah. And there were also some Suzuki Samurais that used to run at Dennis Anderson's Motorsports Park. They were freaking awesome. They're friends of yours, aren't they?
Yeah, you got Michael Martin, who's got a Samurai that's got a pink, or purple, roll cage on it. And I believe he runs a stock 1.6 liter Suzuki motor in that truck. And then the guy that everybody has seen on YouTube, if you've ever watched Tuff Truck videos from Dennis's, of course, from the Woody Jeep Grand Cherokee, which is Tony Bond, myself with Jeepers Creepers, there's a Samurai that's on there, and this guy goes full-blown retard. His name is Sean Billy. And that thing is the fastest little Samurai that I've ever seen in my life. And for 3 years, all of us in North Carolina and Virginia were chasing that junkyard-built Samurai. And he was getting the best of us for most of the time. But once we got our suspension program figured out with these Jeeps, with us having a V8, we got a lot more torque and a lot more top end on them. And we've been able to close the gap. But, you know, Sean, I think Sean's going to come and run my events in Virginia at my mud park that we're getting ready to open up. I also think that Sean is going to continue racing at Morgan's Corner and Suffolk Mud Jam. And if I hear so, I think there was a call out from a bunch of you Yankees up north talking about that you wanted y'all's best 8 trucks versus our best 8 trucks. And I don't know if any of y'all have anything for that Samurai and old Jeepers Creepers when we line up.
I am working on getting my CJ7 and my modified and my Cherokee all going, so it'll depend on the track if I have anything to offer to it. But how long have you been in Tuff Truck racing? Has it been like over 5 years? I don't think it's been that long.
No, it hasn't been that long. Actually, I got started in April of 2014, so this is my 5th year on the circuit.
Okay.
Before racing Tuff Trucks, I had an extensive motorsports background in motocross and monster truck racing. I drove a couple of different monster trucks, worked for a couple of monster truck promoters, and also restored the Virginia Beast monster truck, which was on tank tracks. It did shows with that as well. And I got tired of sitting at the house and decided to go to a mud bog one weekend and seen them guys running Tuff Trucks, and I was like, hell, it doesn't look like there's that much to it. So I went out and got a S10 Blazer for $350 off of a guy that was it wasn't beat up. It was actually in really nice shape. It was kind of mint. And this guy messaged me and said, I've got a 94 Jeep Grand Cherokee that I'll trade you. And that's exactly what I wanted to start off with. And got to Jeep and haven't looked back since. And I don't think I've missed but 3 mud bogs the entire time in the last 5 years. But that was because either I had a blown motor and didn't have time to get the truck put back together, or because I let somebody else drive the truck during the course of the weekend and they ran the truck through a concrete wall at the end of a track.
I got another question from the chat from Hammerhead. Hayden01 the Gamer. Man, that's a long channel name, but he asked if he ever raced against Foy Toy. Do you know who he means?
Foy Toy, the name?
It's a white classic Bronco with king shocks all around.
No, I don't believe I've ever raced against that truck, because see, in Virginia and North Carolina, if you've got any kind of coilovers, that automatically would put you in a modified class. And in Virginia and North Carolina, we run primarily just stock trucks. Now, that doesn't mean that in the future that I won't be running against them guys. I've talked to a guy named Tim Howard who puts on a lot of Tuff Truck shows, and Tim's watched me race a few times, and he's thoroughly convinced that I can do relatively well against some of the modified trucks that he has come out to his events, and actually possibly even place in the money. So who knows, maybe one day you'll see me in the modified class. I had every intentions of building a Chevy Colorado that was going to be 4-link coil over, and have a Chevy LS motor in it. But you know, with the closing of Dennis Anderson's Money Motorsports Park, it just didn't seem practical for me to spend $15,000 and put that kind of money into a truck where I was going to have to go to Pennsylvania or Delaware to go run it. So that's put on the back burner for right now, but you never say never. You never close a chapter in your life without saying that you'll come back and revisit it.
Yeah. You have something. You still have the Beast tank, right? It used to be the Virginia Beach Beast.
It still is Virginia Beach Beast, and yeah, we still got it. It's still lurking in the bushes somewhere.
But I know Zane also has a car killer. I wonder if you guys could maybe get together sometime. Do you remember Blood, Sweat, and Gears?
I remember that video very well. That was one of the first monster truck videos that I actually owned as a child. And there would be nothing more in this world that I'd like to do than to recreate the car killer versus Virginia Beach Beast race from the Superdome that was on that video.
Yeah.
But this time, get the best of Zane and put Virginia Beach Beast in the winner circle and then face off against Bigfoot 4. So maybe my buddy Fred Rep, who actually owns Bigfoot 4, maybe we can make this all happen.
Yeah. I actually got a question. Looks like the question is more for me, though. Someone's asking about Charlottesville. Have you ever seen videos on Charlottesville, Pennsylvania?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Most of the videos that I've watched from Pennsylvania have been videos from like Disorder at the Border. I think it's like the Rolling Ranch short course track that they run there. I really want to go down to Disorder at the Border and run against them guys. I love to race side by side. I hate doing single vehicle, you know, time passes. To me, it's boring. I like it a lot better when you've got physically somebody you can see beside you, because it gets the adrenaline pumping and it makes you do stupid stuff.
Yeah, I love Disorder at the Border. I've had some really great memories down there, so I'm really sure you'll enjoy it. But
just as long as I don't roll over in turns.
It's never a guarantee, though. But what made you decide to go with the Grand Cherokee over a Cherokee? Is it the suspension, because they have coils all the way around compared to the Cherokee that have the coils up front and the leaf springs in the rear, or is it the V8s?
Well, it was a combination between the suspension package that the Grand Cherokee offered and also the fact that it came factory equipped with the V8. They always say there's no replacement for displacement.
Yeah.
And even though the 4.0 can wind up a little bit quicker and it's got a little bit more torque off the get-go, you can't compare 275 horsepower to a 168 horsepower inline six. You know what I mean? And then you couple that with the fact that you've actually got a 4-link suspension on all 4 corners, and then you have coil springs, and to me it's just the ultimate package. The only way that a Cherokee could get any better, a Grand Cherokee, excuse me, is if we could cut some of the weight out of the truck. And this winter, me and my crew chief Chris Weiss, we spent a lot of time, and Chris spent a lot of time with the grinder, you know, literally gutting out anything and everything that we can out of my truck. The doors are completely gutted out. The hatch is gutted out. Anything up front that we can take out, the heater core, the complete dash, everything is taken out. I don't run a regular dashboard. The only thing I have in my truck that's stock from the factory in the driver's compartment is the steering column and the shifter. That's it. And I even modified all that so I could raise my shifter up so that way I could reach the gears a little bit easier, and just for ease of access and comfort. You can't replace being comfortable in a truck. If you are comfortable in a truck, you're going to drive it to the limit. And like I like to say, you're going to do stupid stuff.
Yep. And do you want to, by any chance, talk about Virginia some more, or do you want to hold on to that for your announcement?
Oh, no, we can drop some hints. We're planning on doing 2 mud bogs. They're going to be April the 6th and August the 10th. And they are going to be held in Petersburg, Virginia. I don't want to announce or give away the exact facilities information just quite yet. But we're going to run literally every style of truck that you could possibly imagine at this mud bog. We're going to have 4 6-cylinder class mud bog. We're going to have a street class mud bog, a super street mud bog, modified, super modified, unlimited, Iron X side-by-side, which is your 1-ton, basically mega trucks, and your mega trucks with 2.5 tons or bigger. We're also going to run tough trucks out there. And for instance, for tough trucks, we're paying $500 first place, and then we're paying $175 for second, and we're paying $75 for third place. So it's a pretty nice little payout to come to Virginia just for one afternoon and make 2 passes for 90 seconds.
And I got another question in the chat from Chris Wolf. What all places in Pennsylvania are you looking to run in this year? I know you wanted to do Bloomsburg and Disorder at the Border, but is there anything else?
I'd like to get hooked up with the guys with the Northeastern, I think it's called Tuff Truck Association. They just started, I think it was last year.
Oh, yeah, I helped set them up.
Them guys, they have a real strict set of rules, though. And,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because of the way that my front axle is, I would automatically be bumped in the modified class because I run an axle, truss, and gussets. Now, do I honestly believe that makes me a modified truck?
No.
Absolutely not. But like I talked to them, they need to specify in the rules what's a modified versus what's a pro modified. To me, a pro modified is basically a Pro 4 off-road racing truck, that runs in the modified class at the Jamborees. And to put a Grand Cherokee with a V8 with a trussed front axle, or even a 4.0 Cherokee like Jeremiah Creasy or Leon with Chaotic Racing in a modified class is just baffling to me. And then the fact that they don't have a specified payout for modified class, it's all based off the entry fees. It makes it hard for me to justify going there. But I'd really like to work with them in the future, and I'd like to work with them on getting the rules a little bit more specified and clearer to open it up for a lot more racers to come out and participate. Because it's great to have the everyday guy, Jim Thomas, coming out there with a Ford Explorer with a 4.0 in it that's bone stock, or a GMC Envoy, or a minivan. I even seen a minivan on there that sent it over a jump.
Yep.
But don't discriminate against the guys that are going to come week in and week out and are willing to travel 4 or 5 hours to come race. We got to come across a middle ground. You got to make your racers happy in order to make your fans happy.
Yeah, and Chris Wolf actually said Chris Wolf actually runs with them, and he said he doesn't think they are racing this year. And I don't want to say I'm not surprised, but I did try to get him to budge on the rules, and it was pretty much it was hard to persuade him. And it wasn't just the fact that you had a truss or something like that. It was, you could run stock if you had a 4-point roll cage, but if you have a 6-point roll cage, you're going straight to modified. And I was against the rules like that pretty much as soon as he told me about it.
As soon as you make a rule disqualifying a racer or bumping them up in a class based off of safety modifications, to me that's unjustifiable, not only as a promoter but as a racer. There's no excuse for a lack of safety. And if a person feels like they need a 6-point cage or a 14-point cage, like in my instance, you shouldn't discriminate against that racer and make them bump up into a modified class when they are still a stock truck.
Yeah.
Just like Jeepers Creepers, it is a stock truck with a rough country lift underneath of it. Just because I added, 75 pounds or 100 pounds of weight on the front by gusting and trussing my axle, it doesn't mean that I should be bumped up into a modified class. I'm not running race fuel. I don't have coilovers, and I don't have a big block or a 900 horsepower small block underneath the hood.
Yeah, but is there any place else you were thinking about going to?
There's always places that I think about going to, and I see a video and guys got ramps built out of, tractor trailers and stuff like that. Another place that's definitely on my bucket list to come down and run is the Buck. I hear that Jeremiah Creasy's really hard to beat at the Buck, and
Yep.
Jeremiah beat me at home, so it's about time for me to come to his home track and try to put an old spanking on Jeremiah.
1 second. Just responding to Chris here real quick, and let me make sure I didn't forget to ask anything. I think I'm pretty much caught up. But, yeah, good luck tomorrow at Salisbury. I'm sorry I can't make it down. But,
Oh, that's fine, buddy. I mean, there's always next time. I've told you, anytime you want to come to one of the races that I'm racing at, you're more than welcome with me and my family. You know, I appreciate our 20-year friendship. I appreciate everything that you're doing for the Tuff Truck division and classes across the Eastern Seaboard. And there needs to be more guys like you that are putting in blood, sweat, and tears to give these guys, you know, the credit that's due to them, because we sacrifice our bodies, we sacrifice our paychecks, and we sacrifice, you know, our trucks to go and put on a show for the fans. And some of us don't care about winning trophies. Some of us do care about winning trophies. But at the end of the day, all of us care about putting on a good show for the fans, and that's what it's about.
yep, put it up on 2 wheels, put it on slid, give them a tore-up truck.
So it sounds like something Dennis Anderson would say.
Yeah, when he rolled it over at, what was it, West Lebanon? He rolled it over and said, "Oh, baby, yeah, we rolled her over. That's what the people want. That's what they got, and I got a tore-up truck." Yep, I remember that. But, I'm just, gonna make sure, I'm gonna go through the chat here real quick and, make sure I didn't forget any, questions for you. But, so are you guys pretty much, ready and, ready for tomorrow and, the rest of the weekend?
After about 45 minutes of just putting air in tires and making sure the brakes are... I got a problem in the brake system. I think I got some air trapped in one of my brake lines or in the ABS pump. We got to bleed the brakes tomorrow and put some air in my tires and get the other 2 sets of tires ready in case I decide I'm going to switch out for my boggers. I'm notorious for running boggers, and everybody says that I'm an idiot for doing it. But I love the way that the truck drives on it. It hurts me on sandy tracks, but we did a real good job here in Salisbury. I know some of the guys from Pennsylvania came down here last year to run.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. They had sand all on top of it. You had about 8 inches of sand on top. It was dry. It was choking you because of the dust. And we spent about 3 hours today soaking all the dirt, turning all the clay over, mixing it in with the sand. And I think we're going to come back tomorrow. We're going to tamp it down real good for everybody. We're going to build a backflip ramp for Larry Quick and the Project X backflip truck. And I'm real excited about seeing a backflip in person. I've seen a mega truck do a backflip in person, but I've never seen a monster truck do one in person. So that'll be a first for me. And who knows, maybe Ed Beckley will ask me to try to do a backflip in Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, I went through the chat, and I don't really see any more questions for you. So I think I'm gonna let you get back to work. And thanks for dropping in. And I really appreciate what you said about me trying to do what I can for Tuff Trucks. I really appreciate that.
Man, there ain't no need for you to sit there and thank me, buddy. You're the one that needs all the thanking from all these racers that chatted in today and asked questions and, you know, view your TuffTrucks.com and everything like that. If any of the racers in the area in Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, if you guys are interested in coming down to Salisbury, I'd suggest you guys come and check it out. I built a driver's track out here. I didn't build it for my track. I built it for the guys that can really drive. And I built it to where you're not going to tear your trucks up. So I hope somebody will come on down here and we'll have some fun Friday and 2 times on Saturday. And then Sunday we can all gather up and then have a convoy going back home and talk about who whipped whose butts. And if y'all whip my butt, then I'll sit there and shake your hand and tell you that we'll do it next time.
Yep, and if you can make it down to Salisbury, Maryland to race tomorrow or Saturday, I say go for it. I got your guys' back on the show 100%, so I really hope it works out for you guys tomorrow and get a good number of trucks.
And 2 more quick things.
Sure.
In regards to Salisbury, I know it's a small payout, but we are paying out of our own pocket, talking about my guys that are here with me. As far as the event crew, we're going to pay out of our own pockets to make sure that these racers are compensated for coming out here. It's nothing against the promotion company or anything else like that. We just don't know how many trucks or how much of a turnout that we're going to get. But if the guys go out there and we put on a show like you guys do at Disorder at the Border or the Buck or any other places like that, I'll make sure that you guys are compensated. And also to any other racers that are out here listening, March 30th at Morgan's Corner Proving Grounds, we have the belt race. And the week after that will be my mud bog in Petersburg, Virginia, which there'll be an announcement later this week about that. And hopefully TuffTrucks.com and yourself will, put that press release out there. And we're going to do some cool stuff with social media with that. And the following weekend after that, we got Suffolk Mud Jam, which is at the Suffolk Regional Airport in Suffolk, Virginia. And that's another belt race. And then the weekend after that, you got an awesome mud bog in Sign Rock, Virginia. At I think it's in Vernon, Virginia is the actual location of the mud bog. It's near Danville. It's a little bit of a hike for everybody, but that's an awesome track to check out too. And then also, please check out the Morgan's Corner Facebook page, the Mud Jam Facebook page, and pretty soon we're going to have an RWR Motorsports and Mud Bog page for all the racers to find out information about our events that are going to happen on April the 6th and August the 10th. We got $6,000 in total payouts that's going to go out, guaranteed, plus 100% payback in each and every division. So if one truck shows up, you're winning $500 in Tuff Trucks.
Awesome.
So just keep in mind, you guys.
And do you have time for 2 more questions, or do you have to get back to work?
Absolutely. I never turn away questions or answering stuff, so let's go for it.
Okay, I got a question in the chat from RPM Nexus, and what is the best memory you can think of with an event?
I gotta go to beating Jeremiah heads up. We raced at Mud Jam. He took my belt from me 2 weeks before, and we got the knuckle replaced on my truck and replaced the ball joints. And I'm driving the truck off the trailer, and my crew chief is sitting there, and he's taking a video. And I said, Jeremiah, I'm coming to Dennis Anderson's Money Motorsports Park, bargain for buoys, and I'm gonna be digging holes and taking souls, and I've already got a tombstone with your name on it.
That's
and
awesome.
I backed up every word that I said. I went out there and I beat him by 10 Jeep links, heads up, straight up, no excuses. And Jeremiah, as the gentleman that he is, came over, shook my hand, said it was fun, and we got to do it again. And I've actually got a picture of me and Jeremiah racing each other from that pass that weekend that's hanging up on my wall, along with about 50 other photos of my tough truck and motorsports career hanging up in my living room.
And that's awesome. And the last question is, how exactly was this Tuff Truck belt born? Because I've been hearing quite a bit about it.
The whole Tuff Truck belt was born through Ken Whitley with Big Daddy Motorsports. He runs Morgan's Corner, and he also runs the Suffolk Mud Jam. And I'm an entertainer, and I watch a lot of professional wrestling, and I'm not afraid to admit it because I think it's sports entertainment. It's a male soap opera. And anytime you can sit there and you can, stir the pot a little bit and talk a little smack and get under people's skin, I like to take advantage of that. And I think the whole thing with the belt developed because, Ken was seeing me make these videos calling people out, talking about how I was going to drag their ass over the weekends, and he was like, Robbie's sounding a lot like Ric Flair, and Ric Flair carries the championship belt with him. So, woo, let's make a belt.
Woo!
So it's kind of like our championship. It's sort of like TNT Motorsports back in the day with monster trucks. Whoever won the event the previous weekend got to carry the flag to the next TV taping during the week, and they had that big silver flag on the back of it. Well, we've got a championship belt, and the deal is, if you win it, you've got to come back and you got to defend it. And if you can't defend it, then you got to forfeit it. So I think it's neat and entertaining, and it gets the fans involved because we're able to do a lot of stuff with social media and make videos and stuff like that. And here in the coming weeks, I got a couple of posters and a couple of videos that are going to be made directed towards Jeremiah, and hopefully Jeremiah, God willing, doesn't take offense to it and thinks it's kind of funny, and we get the fans involved and backing it. And I'll tell you what, the fans at Mud Jam and Morgan's Corner, they love Tuff Trucks. That's for sure. That we run last, and we're kind of like the headliners at them events. So the belt's kind of a big deal. If you get an opportunity, come on down and come run in it and see how you do.
Yeah, actually, and if you think about it, the whole country does love Tuff Trucks, just not too many people know about it, which is why I got a hold of the TuffTrucks.com domain name. So I'm going to try and do whatever I can to get events more organized, and because people run tough trucks from Pennsylvania to California. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You go on YouTube and you will look up, I think it's Wegas, Wegas. They do this big fair.
Yep.
I think it's in Washington State. And them guys, they
Yep.
are insane. Like, I think we're nuts in Virginia and North Carolina because of the stuff that we do. But no, them guys take it to a whole nother level. And, I mean, they don't even have built trucks. They're just basically junkyard clunkers that are being taken out there to go get tore up.
And I think that's gonna be pretty much it for tonight. So thanks again for dropping in. I really appreciate it, and really looking forward to hearing how the weekend goes for you guys.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. I certainly appreciate it. I know my crew chief appreciates it, and I know that all the tough truck racers across the country appreciate the little bit of recognition that you give them. And we're going to go out there, and like I said, man, we're going to dig holes, and we're going to take souls, and if I don't, I'm going to break everything trying, so.
Yep. So good luck this weekend, all right?
Yes, sir, I appreciate it. And like I said, guys, y'all that are listening, if you get an opportunity, come check us out in Virginia, North Carolina. You know, Leon and Jeremiah, they'll tell you we're damn good people. We'll bend over backwards to help you, but when we line up against you, we're seeing red, and we're going to beat you one way or another, or we're going to tear up our truck.
All right. Take care, Robbie, and have a good one.
Yes, sir. You guys, too. Thank you for having me on the show, Charles.
Yep. All right. I'll see you later.
All right. Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Hope you all enjoyed it. So if you did, crush the like button. And if this is your first time here, feel free to subscribe. And you'll get my latest podcast and videos as they come out. Did you guys in the chat have a good time? But I'm gonna shut it down a while. So thanks again for dropping in, everyone. I hope you guys have a good one and enjoyed the podcast tonight. Take care.